Absolutely, you can do both of those, and I actually did book my flight ticket to Mumbai using that itself. So how exactly is it doing that? Right, all this, right? Really cool design. And what if I tell you, I haven't written a single line of code. All I did was use a skill, give it on Claude, and boom, I was able to do that. And I currently work at Just Paid as a head of growth. I've previously exited my own startup. It was actually sold to a private equity firm in San Francisco. And after the exit, I've been mentoring with AI, consulting with AI and everything. And I'm part of the Forbes Technical Council. I'll try to make it as conversational as possible, as clear as possible. And I'll just make it easy for you guys to understand what exactly is this thing that everyone is talking about. I'm a completely non-technical person, and I've been vibe coding since OpenAI launched their API token, their ChatGPT token, back in November 2022. As a complete non-coder, I only work with voice, and I just connect to the laptop. It's basically what's called vibe coding, and that's what we'll be doing as well. We'll be setting up OpenClaw on the fly right now. End of the day, underneath it, it's just code being written, right? It's just code being written. You give it a prompt, and a code is being written by the LLM, and then it pushes out an email. And finally, and why open? Like, why open? What is this, open? Like, why is it even called that? And the name itself reveals it. OpenClaw, open source. Claw meaning hand. It can actually do things for you. And you guys all use Slack? You guys all use Slack professionally, guys? Jarvis just replied, of course, sir. Here's a few liners you can say. Hey everyone, I'm Jarvis, Harshith's AI assistant. I help him think, write, research, plan, automate workflows, and generally move faster across work and life. Right? The important thing to understand is that tools like Claude are not just chatbots. It's just blabbering. It wants to, kind of tell you what it, because I've fed it information like that, right? Now, as you can see, this is not just ChatGPT. I mean, what's the difference, right? Yeah, but yeah, is it just like ChatGPT inside Slack? But is that it? Not really. So where does the power come from? The power comes from its WhatsApp, Telegram, Discord, Slack, Signal, iMessage, Claude and everything. And the best part, guys, if you do not find an integration, just say, Jarvis, can you go ahead and integrate with so-and-so? Give it that documentation and boom, it's going to integrate by itself. Understand, this is something called as meta-level prompting. If you don't know how to do it, ask Jarvis, ask OpenClaw itself. Ask OpenClaw, hey, how do I connect you with such and such? How do I connect you with a tool? It's going to tell you, it's going to do it by itself. That is the power. It's an action, it actually does things, right? Underneath is just a large language model, but it's going to do things. That is what OpenClaw is, right? And as you can see, so there are a couple of ways to install this, right? So you can install this on your computer, meaning this entire code base would run on my computer. It's going to run on my computer, and it's going to run it, and it's going to be a slightly intensive if you want to connect it to WhatsApp, Telegram, and all of that. But the problem with that is, the moment I turn my computer off, my OpenClaw is dead. Right? I mean, I could be somewhere, this is for real, guys. I just traveled to Gokarna recently, and I was stuck. There was no internet connection. And this is a real life use case. So I didn't even have internet connection as well, but my only mobile service was working. So I called Jarvis on my mobile, like for real, on my mobile. And it was connected with mobile. It had a home server. So I have a small Mac Mini sitting at home, which is connected to the internet. And on call, it was able to pull information and give me the number of the hotel stay, right? And that was a real use case. I was like stuck in dark. It was, very scary. So now, as you can see, it's the potential is limitless. Let's say let's say I'm sending it an email, I'm asking it to, buy groceries for me. I'm giving it, a lot of this information, and the next moment I chat, it's just gonna say, hi, I don't have context about this. And then what's the point, right? That's something called as memory and context. You want the model to have as much context as possible. Okay, so as you can see, it's doing all of these tool calls. Right, it has so many tools integrated behind it. It's going to reply all of those. Now it's just understanding its tools. It's reading its own code base, right? It's reading its own code base and then replying to me something like, hi, I'm here, okay? Now I'm going to give it this prompt, okay? Okay, so you are OpenClaw and I have just installed you. What are the next steps to personalize you? Okay, so now that I've given it, okay, now here's the most important thing, guys. As you can see, what I'm doing on the screen right now is personalization, right? I'm gonna personalize my OpenClaw for myself because that's the power of OpenClaw, right? And it has something called as memory files. It has something called as skill files, which I told you already about, right? Now what you can do is, all you have to do is just say, hey, give it your name, give it information, give it access to accounts. You can just ask it to remember things. The best part about this is it's going to create its own memory files. There's also something called as a soul file, a soul. The soul of your OpenClaw, you can just write this down if you want. It's soul file. Okay, why is this important? It's the soul of your OpenClaw. You can just give your OpenClaw a soul, meaning you can just tell it that, hey, you are going to be Gary Vaynerchuk, right? You can give it the soul of Gary Vaynerchuk, or you guys might also be knowing Vaibhav from Outskill. You can just give it a soul of Vaibhav Sisanti, and it's gonna reply to you as that. It's gonna embody that, right? It's gonna embody that. If you're reading Naval Ravikant, I have another OpenClaw setup which is only Naval Ravikant itself. It's only gonna brainstorm with me about ideas that Naval does. So that is what this can do. It has a soul. It has a soul file. It has these memory files. It's going to be creating memory files on a daily basis. Let's say if I'm done texting it, boom. Next steps are basically, give me, as you can see, it's asking you to give it an identity. Give me an identity. Tell me about you. Connect useful tools and then set my habits. Like, if you wanted to wake up every day and ping you saying, hey, here is your daily email list, or your daily reminder for, applying for like a VC firm, applying for a job, applying for, something. It's going to keep giving you those reminders, right? All of that is going to do it. So I built this one, an image generation. So my mom's a teacher, and it's just helpful for her if she wants to create images for her curriculum and all of that. All I did was I gave it my domain. I gave it my domain like Harshith.vc. I asked my OpenClaw to create a very simple image generation page. Boom, it just did it. So I don't even have to go to Lovable. I don't even have to use these vibe coding tools. My entire work is just on Slack. And the best part is, of course, you can just do it with your phone. You do not even have to open your computer on. And if you wanted to do something which needs computer, which needs vision, it's going to use something called as browser use. So this is basically, these are all tasks. Okay, let it load. These are all tasks that Jarvis does it by itself. The OpenClaw does it by itself. You guys might be using Jira, Linear, or any of these platforms. The best part is you don't even have to create these tickets. The OpenClaw looks into your emails. Let's say if you've given me a task. It's going to read that task, it's going to create that linear ticket, it's going to assign another agent to start working on it. Right? So that's basically what OpenClaw is, guys. I mean, and I just I just wonder at at a certain point, at what point is this even work? When you're just texting on on your Slack and just asking your OpenClaw to do all the work. Scrape information from a certain website, right? If you want to scrape information from a website, you use something called as Firecrawl.dev, right? Let me show you a real example right now. you have a firecrawl.dev installed right now. Can you exactly tell me everything that is on this website? Give me all the information about this website. And where exactly is this used? It can be used in competitor research. Right? It can be used in competitor research, meaning, let's say you have a competitor, a software company, a SaaS company who is a competitor. You can ask your OpenClaw to keep an eye. You can ask it to keep an eye on the pricing page or a certain page. Let's say they're posting a blog about something. Your OpenClaw, it's going to be scraping that website on a regular basis. It's going to give you ideas of what all things that you can do, right? And now, as you can see, it is scraping all of that. It has scraped all the information for me. It has scraped all the information, everything about my website, right? It was able to scrape all of this. It was able to look into each and every single page and give me this entire brief of what my website is. Again, this idea itself, you can do multiple things with this. You can create a competitor research, like I said. You can create your own daily blogs generator. It can look into blogs, it can generate blogs, it can write blogs, it can brainstorm by itself as well, okay, as you can see. Now, as you can see, it's installing a skill, right? It's installing a skill for SEO audit, right? And over 100,000 people have actually used this. So it's going to use this skill. It's going to go to my website and it's going to do a complete SEO audit on how I can rank better on Google, right? A lot of things that you can do. Okay. Now again, multiple things happening, multiple agents running. One agent is this, you know, the one that I crawled the information. And once again, if you want to note this down, it's called Firecrawl. If you forget this, just give your agent this name, ask it to install Firecrawl for itself. It's going to install Firecrawl and it would be ready to crawl any website after this.
To OpenClaw, what could it actually be capable of? Could it be booking airline tickets for you? Could it be, you know, looking at your WhatsApp, giving you a summary of what's going on? What's the actual potential for this from that point of view?
Absolutely, you can do both of those, and I actually did book my flight ticket to Mumbai using that itself. So how exactly is it doing that? Let me also add on to your pointer where you said it's a middle layer. OpenClaw in itself is just a, you know, like a dashboard tool. What tools you give it access to matters. So there's something called as browser harness. Browser harness, okay? It's by browser use. So now what happens when you just have to copy the link, give your OpenClaw, just say, this is browser harness. Can you go ahead and install the entire browser harness skill for yourself and create a skill only for booking airlines from Make My Trip? If it asks for credentials, ping me on Slack and I'll give you the OTP to my Gmail. That's it.
Decide what to use, what to not use. How does it safely store that information, and how does it, orchestrate it such that one agent that needs to book your airline isn't trying to look up for your mother's name or some other information that you've given that's safe and secure?
Yeah. So regarding the security, once again, these are all API keys. So my OpenClaw would have access to my Gmail API key. My OpenClaw would have access to my WhatsApp number with a QR code and all of that. It's just having access to all of those. And at some point, you know what it is. OpenClaw is an orchestration layer where it orchestrates in such a way. It tool calls, and that's basically what OpenClaw is. I mean, that's what it is built for. It looks for, it's basically a RAG, like, it looks into the output, the input, it looks into the memory, it looks into the skills it has, it looks into the LLM that it has access to, and then gives you an output. So that's all happening completely behind the scenes, but it's doing a tool call. About Claude Cowork, of course. So Claude app itself, the app itself has three variants. One is the chat variant, the other one is the Cowork variant, and this is Claude Code variant. And I just want to make it much more clear to you because you clearly understand why Claude has even come up with Claude Cowork, Claude Code, and all of these. Okay. So let me show you this. So blank screen, and I'll open something called as terminal. So every computer has a version of a terminal. Mac has something called as terminal itself. Windows also has something similar to that. It's called SSH or something, right? It's basically a similar version to it. Now, here's the difference. The moment I type Claude in this, okay, let me increase the size. You guys can see what I'm typing in, right? Claude, right? The moment I type in Claude and enter, give it a second. Yeah, it opens something like this. Like, what is this? Like, it just says Claude Code. It's using Opus 4.6 with no effort, right? This is entirely different from the desktop app that we're seeing here, right? But guess what? It's actually the same thing under the hood. The reason being, you know what? Let's take the same Claude code, the same thing, the same Claude code, wrap it up with a easier UI so that the non-coders also understand, and it's just Claude Cowork. That is it. So the reason I'm telling you all of this is because everything that you'll be learning right now in Claude Code and Claude Cowork, these just have buttons. This has a button like work in a project, it has ask button, it has all these different buttons. But whatever tool you're using of Claude, it's the same thing. It's just under the hood, right? So now that's clear. We can, hop back and forth. We'll understand it in a much clearer lens, right? Perfect. Okay. Now that we understood this, of course, the best thing that we can do is simply start off with a very simple website, right? We can start off with a simple website, and we'll be using something called as skills, right? We'll use something called as skills. We'll install a skill inside Claude Cowork or Claude Code, right? And this tool would be using, when everyone creates something like this, it's all called AI slop, right? People refer to it as AI slop because the moment you see it on a website, you would just know that, hey, this is built with AI, right? You want something unique. You want taste. The one thing that AI does not have yet is taste. Right? It doesn't have taste because humans, we have taste. We know what looks good, what doesn't look good on the website, right? But if you know something called as skills, you can import that skill in Claude Code and Claude Cowork and ask it to use that skill. We have something called as skills, right? So there is this very cool skill called taste skill, right? Taste skill. This skill is, you can just download it with a very single command. The moment you download it, now your Claude is equipped to create beautiful designs like this. Like beautiful designs like this. Looks very, very good. Let me actually show you an example of a website that I built out. Guys, this looks really good, I would say, right? With all that design and everything, right? All this, right? Really cool design. And what if I tell you, I haven't written a single line of code. All I did was use a skill, give it on Claude, and boom, I was able to do that. That's it. If Claude is not already connected to GitHub, it's going to ask you for permission to connect to GitHub. Once that's done, your entire code, because code is IP now, code is intellectual property, it's going to be pushed to your website, okay? So you just need to set up all these, all of the tokens and everything. It's going to ask you like SSH or just directly log in with GitHub. Once it's done, it'll directly push it there, right? Yeah. Now that the UI part is clear, guys, let's Claude Code. Yeah. The use case that I have in mind right now is there's something called as product hunt, right? So here's a real use case, okay? Use case one will be creating our own newsletter, okay? There's a website called Product Hunt. Product Hunt is where people, they build out their own products, they keep publishing it on a daily basis. There are new ideas, new SaaS tools, whatever tools that they're publishing it, right? This is a really good source for generating our own ideas, understanding, what the market is doing, what your competitors are doing around that, right? And my pitch here is, what if you have a newsletter that sends a morning brief every single day for the top 5 products in your segment. Right, and it's a real use case, guys. A lot of people do subscribe to newsletters, and on the go, you just get information like new product ideas, and you can also monetize that in different ways with sponsors or a gated newsletter as well, right? Yes.
Are we actually technically stealing their idea or become their competitors in some way?
Yeah, that is a good question, but I mean, right now, there is no such thing as stealing an idea. End of the day, it's just execution. Because they have published it, it's up there, and we're not stealing that code. It's just a platform they've chosen to publish on a platform, right? Like for this one, it's a simple, fast outliner for Mac and iPhone, right? It's a good idea. End of the day, it's no longer about copying ideas. It's no longer about stealing ideas anymore. It's about how good are you able to execute it? How good are you able to design it? Like I mentioned, taste. Products need to have taste, right? I mean, of course, you have Claude Code. Everyone has these tools, but is everyone able to create SaaS products that a lot of people use? Right? Not a lot, because you need that specialization, right? So that is what that differs right now at this point, I would say. Because now, here's my pitch, right? We're going to create an entire newsletter out of this. So let me go to Claude and let me just brainstorm with it first. Do you guys see this, guys? It says bypass permissions on, right? Bypass permissions on. So every time I start coding with it, every time I start working with it, it's not going to be asking me for permissions. It's going to be doing things by itself right now, okay? So, and if you want to toggle that on, it's all slash commands, right? These slash commands would give you a lot of these different tools. And of course, whatever you're seeing on the Claude app, they're all basically a UI layer on top of these. So Anthropic first pushes everything to Claude Code, and then the best ones with a good UI layer, then they go onto the app itself, right? Now I'm onto the project. So I want to work on a complete newsletter automation, which would be scraping information from Product Hunt, and the top 5 best finance AI tools would be generated as a very beautiful newsletter, which go out every morning at 10 a.m. So this is the tool that I want to work on. Let's set up a project for it. Let's set up a folder for it, and give me a brief on how we should start working with this.
Zawan, can you please charge this if possible?
Okay, and now enter that. And as you can see, it also gives us tips, right? These are a couple of these tips, like tip loop. So the moment you give it any prompt and just use the command loop under that, it's just going to run those commands on loop. Okay, so now that we have an idea, okay, here are a couple of things that we need. One is we want to scrape, right? We want to scrape the information from the website. So how do we scrape it? To scrape this, we need something called as Firecrawl, because the information is out there, but we want to scrape the information, right? We want to scrape the information. So, like it says, let's use a tool called Firecrawl, and then a newsletter HTML, email sending, scheduling, and all of that. Okay. So now let's create a folder. Let me just do this. Let's create a folder on my desktop. Let's call it newsletter automation. All right. Even the folders, it's going to create the folder by itself. The moment it creates a folder, it will have a complete brief as well. Okay, done. Folder created, newsletter automation. Let's check that on our desktop if that actually exists. Okay, I just give it that. It's going to figure out a way to install it by itself, right? And our Shopify AI Toolkit is now installed, and I'll auto-update new capabilities as they release. Isn't that amazing? Every time a new capability is lastly, and these tools are a UI layer. But this is a tool. A cursor would have multiple modules. Cursor would have ChatGPT. Cursor would have GPT 5.5. Cursor would have Anthropic. It would have Grok. It would have many other API keys itself. So Cursor is a middle layer. So I want to code. I want to give it a prompt. I give the prompt to Cursor. Cursor calls Anthropic API, gets information from Anthropic, Cursor shows it, and then I have the tool built. That's it. You're either ways paying for the model. Here, you are on Claude Code or on Claude Code.
So the question is, let's say I have code already built by my developer slop and that.
Yeah.
It's huge code.
Yeah.
And see, this is best when I'm starting from scratch or starting something of my own.
Yeah.
Totally new. So if I already have a bunch of code which I'm already sitting in my system,
Yes.
and I want to build on that,
Yeah.
build feature,
Yeah.
that fix the code
Yes.
which I had inefficient code.
Yes.
So in that case, what tools do you suggest?
Yeah. I would say Claude Code itself. Now Priyanka has a question, guys. What if we want to use already existing code and then make updates right? Let me show this to you on the slide right now. Okay, so let me give you an example. That's my website, that's my repository. And let me go to my own website right now. Let me go to my own website, which is harshith.com. That's my repository, okay? This has already been built. It's already been built, and it was, 4 months ago, it's already been built, right? Just simply go back to your OpenClaw website, right? Scroll down, click on documentation, just docs.openclaw.ai, right? Just go to this, give this link to Perplexity, to any tool, and then ask it to do it for you, it's gonna do it, right? That's it. Just type in this link. Even if you forget, things that I'm telling you, it's totally okay. And why am I even telling this? Because there are so many things to remember right now. We might sometimes forget. And I would say the moat is no longer remembering things. The moat is no longer knowing things. The moat is just getting things done. That's it. It's just getting things done with your agent. That's it.